I'm with Martin Pleece, singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist. Martin, can you tell us anything about why you've chosen the harp guitar as your instrument of this time?
But I remember the first time I saw a harp guitar, and when you see one, you want to have a go. But it's the low notes. I was a piano player first when I was a little boy, and one of the things I always used to love was trying big grand pianos in different places, and you get those big fat low notes, and that's what the harp guitar can give you. Acoustically and electrically, of course, because we've got pickups now. And there's nothing like, for instance, here's a low C, a lovely rich, and a D. Now, with standard guitars, you often take the 6th string down to D anyway, but it never sounds like this, because that's a big, long scale, fat string. And a C, and my favourite, the A for the A minor. So the guitar's always done high notes really well. You know, you've got harmonics, and you don't lose that with a harp guitar. It's like you gain that much piano, and it's the nice part of the low piano as well. It's the rich cello, moonlight sonata part of the piano, you know. So it's not just a regular guitar with low notes added. It opens up the whole possibility of playing melodies in different parts of the guitar. So you can have a melody there accompanied by the bass. You can have a melody here. And then of course you could have the melody here. So you've got 3 octaves and the accompaniment. So this is like playing a piano. So I suppose the harp guitar, when you start, yeah, it's an oddity, it's different. It's another type of guitar to collect and want. But once you get playing it, it really opens up a much wider range of solo possibilities. Hello, you alright?
Come in.
Fantastic, thanks.
Stray Away Child, a track from your new album, A Lark in the Clear Air. Have you any background on this particular tune?
The Stray Away Child, well, that's fascinated me as a piece of music for many years now. I first heard it by an American flat picker by the name of Dan Creary, and some very influential musicians like Mark O'Connor and Bela Fleck played on a version of the Stray Away Child. And there's two different names for this piece, the Stray Away Child and the Stray Away Girl, and they're both interchangeable. Different people use different names. Dan Creary used the Stray Away Child, and that was just beautifully played. I remember hearing Mark O'Connor's fiddle playing, but it was a very American version. And then many years ago I got to hear the Bothy Band version of it, and that's beautifully haunting. It's got about 5 different instruments on it, but the Stray Away Girl as a piece of music is fairly unique because it has 6 different parts to it. And in that way it's actually a bit more like a classical piece of music, in that it takes a main theme and twists and turns in different directions with it. And that's really quite unusual, because a lot of traditional music from Ireland has an A part and a B part. Whereas the Stray Away Girl, because it has all these different sections, and some of them are only different in tiny little ways, then it gives you more to play from a solo aspect. So really the version that I've been trying to capture is more like a longer classical guitar piece than a traditional Irish piece of music. And so that's why I always loved it, because it's got very unusual sections that do different things. And then with traditional Irish music, of course, you're always scratching your head and saying, well, which chord is appropriate and which chord isn't appropriate. And when we've all heard pieces of music, Danny Boy, used with whole orchestras and violins, where they've stuffed as many different chord changes and voice leading and harmonies as they can, and it just stops sounding earthy and traditional. And I didn't want that with the Stray Away Girl. So the Stray Away Girl, as well as the length of the piece, was a challenge to make sure the harmony didn't detract from that lovely, stark, rural Irish feel. So it's in E minor. So there's a few B's in there, B7, but not many. And there's a G, and E minor, and of course D. So it was all also with the 6 different sections, where do the chord changes fit in, and are the chord changes appropriate. So it's a fascinating piece of music, and really it became a little bit of a study. It wasn't something that came together quickly, and I tried not to listen to the Bothy Band too much, because there's so much to copy, but at the end of the day I do think that that's the definitive version. The Chieftains did a very good job of it. They did it very slow and mournful, but it is the Dan Creary version and the Bothy version that I've listened the most to.